How to create a waterfall chart in PowerPoint. Go to the Insert menu and click Chart. Near the bottom of the chart options is the waterfall chart. Click OK. What we see now is a very useful default waterfall chart that has, in gray, a total on the left, total in the middle, and a total on the right. We also have 3 floating bars that show an increase in blue and 2 floating bars that show a decrease in orange. What I think we should fix straight away is the color scheme. Let's go to the legend, click Increase, right-click, select Fill, and change that color to green. Green is good. We like increases. We're going to set decreases to red and totals to blue. Let's assume this waterfall chart represents an EBIT walk, which we will put in the chart title. The labels at the bottom of the waterfall chart can be updated by going to the source data sheet, which is actually a simplified Excel sheet that sits within the PowerPoint graph. Let's assign the label prior year to the total on the left, current year for the total in the middle, and next year for the total on the right. Let's call the first increase good news number 1. Then the second increase good news number 2. And the first decrease bad news number 1. The remaining 2 floating bars we will call bad news number 2 and good news number 3. That looks pretty good already. Let's click on the data series and switch off the connector lines, which don't add any value in my opinion. Each of the bars has its value displayed above or below it, which I like a lot. If you don't want the value displayed, then click on the data label series and uncheck the box Value in the Labels Options section. So far, so good, so what? Let's take a look at the practical limitation of the default waterfall chart. If the value of good news number 1 is 40 instead of 20, then we see the green bar of good news number 2 and the red bar of bad news number 1 shift accordingly. However, the current year total does not update automatically, and that bar is now disconnected from the previous data. The reason for that is the values in our table are absolute numbers, which are not connected by formulas. Let's highlight rows 2, 6, and 9, where the totals reside, and format these to bold to remind us that these are totals by applying Ctrl B. Now in cell B6, we insert the formula equals sum B2, B5. Enter. In cell B9, we insert equals sum B6, B8. Enter. Now the totals are dynamic. They change if any of the floating bar values change. We can even enter minus 40 as the value in cell B3. And the floating bar automatically turns red to indicate a decrease. Our manually labeled good news number 1 has changed camps to the red team. Let's get you back to green by inputting plus 40. If we want to add another floating bar, we simply click on the row in the data table that has to move up to make space. For example, row 8. Click Ctrl plus, and we now have an empty row we can fill. For example, with bad news number 3 of minus 10. With so many columns, the data labels at the bottom no longer align nicely. Let's widen the waterfall chart a bit to correct this. To get rid of a floating bar, you could enter a 0 as its value. This keeps the column and the label in place. It now just has a value of 0. If you want it to disappear completely, then select a row, for example row 4, and click Ctrl minus. That's what the functionality looks like when we just stay in PowerPoint. In a lot of situations, you might already have existing data, for example in Excel, that you don't want to retype. For example, let's take the data used in the How to Create a Waterfall Chart in Excel video and copy that over. Excel is warning you that you are breaking the links. In other words, you are going to paste the values only, but not the formulas. We are okay with that for now. The waterfall chart looks very funny and not at all like what we have built in the Excel file from the other video. Can you spot what the problem is here? First of all, price should be a floating bar in the waterfall chart, not a total. To fix that, click the price bar twice. Don't double click, but click it twice. Uncheck the Set as Total box. Same applies to FX. Click the FX bar twice and uncheck the Set as Total box. Now all we are missing is the end total of EBIT current year. Let's go to Chart Tools, Chart Design, select Data, and expand the data range to include the values up to cell B9. Update Set as Total, and our waterfall chart in PowerPoint now looks very similar to the waterfall chart we built in the other video in Excel. For dramatic impact, we could adjust the scale of the y-axis. Click twice on that vertical axis, go to Axis Options, and set the bounds to minimum 80, which will automatically adjust the maximum to 120. We now have the exact same waterfall chart in PowerPoint as we have in Excel. If you don't like the paste values aspect of this, we can also link the PowerPoint waterfall chart to the Excel source data. Chart Tools, Chart Design, Edit Data in Excel. In cell A2, type the equal sign and link to cell O2 in the Variance Walk tab of the Excel file. Hit Enter and drag the formula through cell B9. What we see now is EBIT prior year everywhere, which is not what we want. Go back to cell A2 and delete the dollar signs in front of the O and in front of the 2. Now drag the formula through cell B9 again. Anytime you update the data in the Excel source table, the waterfall chart in PowerPoint will now automatically update as well. Build it in PowerPoint or build it in Excel. A waterfall chart is a great tool for data visualization that demonstrates how a key financial metric changes over time.